What is going on? It's Run the North, week 11, just about in the books. I'm Will. This is Jason. We're talking Vikings and Bears, and we had perhaps the unfortunate pleasure of being at the game at US Bank Stadium last week. It was a great day for a football game. Not a great day to watch whatever was going on inside of US Bank Stadium. For an indoor stadium, there must have been some drafts because all I saw were inaccurate balls from both quarterbacks all day long. Me and Jason flipped a coin beforehand. I won the toss and elected to defer. So we're going to start off with Jason talking about the Bears today. Where would you like to start, Jason?
Bear down, baby. Let's talk about the walk down from the Skyway. We're walking with our wives and we're just kind of prattling along. How do you think it's going to go today? What's going on? Back and forth with the ladies, the car ride, all that stuff. And you and I had a very similar opinion. We thought it'd be a little more high scoring. I said it'd be a one-score game. I think I said 31-27 in favor of the Bears. Obviously, it was 19-17. Still a one-score game. I know it was a little vague, but I thought we'd see a little bit more offense, just in the sense that, they both have young quarterbacks. Bears were ahead most of the game last week one, kind of choked it away in the fourth quarter. JJ had a great fourth quarter. So I figured by then, settle down a little bit, get a couple games in. And then also, schematically, we do things different. We're a simulated mug pressure, a lot of man. You guys are a lot of simulated exotic pressure, a lot of zone over top. But either way, in practice, these young quarterbacks have a chance to see and communicate just line and sight adjustments. So I thought the defense would be less of a factor, not eliminated, but just a little bit more comfortable because you're used to seeing some version of that, misplay on purpose. So that was interesting. We stood by, obviously had a bunch of Vikings fans all around. They were more than cordial, respectful. The last point I had going into the game was I said, whoever runs the ball better and whoever gets off the field on third down. And though, there were some drops, some bad ones by Addison. DJ Moore actually had 3 drops as well. The story that's coming out of this game is JJ's got, just a wild thing, Charlie Sheen looking arm, not setting his feet. Caleb had a couple of overthrows, but those were also with dudes in his face. So not great, but something we've seen before. So again, getting off on third down and running the ball, the Bears had on 4 yards rushing. Vikings should have ran the ball more. They could have ran the ball more. I just feel like that's something you do for a young quarterback. And as we get later into the conversation, a little bit of post-game analysis, we'll get into this more, but I'm sure you have plenty to say about JJ. I want to actually bring that to coaching when the time comes, but we'll get back to that later. From the Bears side, nothing really wowed me other than they figured out a way to do it again. The wow point was the result of the game. Not that they won, but they won on a last-minute field goal. They won a little bit differently. They won 7. They're now 7-3. They now are the sole division leaders at the moment, finishing week 11. We're here on Monday night. We had seen a slow start. They lost to the Vikings. They got waxed by Detroit. And since then, they've won 7 of their last 8 games. They've won it in different fashion. Yeah, the comment is, we've beaten shit teams. Like, but we don't apologize on the schedule. You guys are going to play the same schedule, just in a different order. And it's a lot of the same, like we talked about last episode, that they're winning all these tight games. It's a character thing, in my opinion. It doesn't feel fluky. Is it sustainable? I don't know. Would have been my answer last week. This week, maybe it is, just in the sense they're finding different ways to do it. Was it luck the first time? Sure. Second time is a what do you call it? I don't remember the exact quote, but one time is a luck, second time is a coincidence, third time's a trend, and fourth is a pattern or something like that. So now we've done it 7 times, 7 different ways. You haven't gotten all 3 phases together. Like the Cincinnati game, offense completely carried the team. The special teams win against the Raiders. There's a blocked field goal. Like you just made your own luck there. This one, special teams came back again. We gave up some big plays. You guys had a great drive, picked us apart going down. Huge return. I was complaining about Duvernay, our return man, all-pro return man the last couple of years. He always stops before contact. He gets it to the other plus 40, and then run the ball 3 straight times for a game-winning, no chance for rebuttal time on the clock, field goal after Cairo just missed a 45er. So we're finding different ways to do it. We beat the Saints, all defense the whole way, not sustainable picks, turnovers. Great. Well, if you look at the pick turnover leaders individually. You have Kevin Byard, Tremaine Edmonds, 1 and 2. Someone's tied for third, and then Noshawn Wright's fifth with 5, 4, and 4 picks. So it's like they're getting something right. So is this sustainable? You wouldn't think so, but they're doing it differently, different ways, different styles, and there's a different level of confidence you have in Caleb. The Iceman thing's kind of catching on, which I like. It's kind of dope.
The Iceman?
Especially as we get into
is that his nickname?
It's starting to be. Last week it came out, the national pundits, and now the locker room's starting to do it a little bit, and I like it because he's gonna be playing in the cold, ice in his veins. I get all that. But Iceman was number 2 in Hot Top Gun. So I is it not Maverick? I don't know. You're crazy, Maverick. Or you're dangerous. You're dangerous, Maverick, or something like that. Which was cool. And then final point is you can tell that Ben Johnson is putting some trust in him. He's also doing a lot to protect him with the run game, because this is 2 weeks in a row where Ben Johnson has not called his best game as a play caller. But you can just see there's a little bit different of a fire, a consistency to it, and something that these are all the games that we know to choke away. We're coming up on Thanksgiving week next week. We play the Eagles for, I think, best in the conference, if not second best in the conference for that game on Black Friday. It's just the stark contrast where we were literally 51 weeks ago to where we're choking away this game. The week prior, we had the Fail Mary. We're going into the week where Flus would have muffed it on Thanksgiving, and he gets fired the next Monday. How the turntables, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of these feelings kind of brought up in a game that was not the most exciting, explosive wise, but just some good and bad football. A lot of missed opportunities of two young quarterbacks trying to figure it out. That's really what I got for this one. Opening up the questions for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the stat lines, you look at the game, it really didn't feel like Caleb played that much better than JJ McCarthy. Like, you could maybe even argue he didn't play better than JJ McCarthy. I think McCarthy has one more touchdown throw. I mean, Caleb doesn't throw for a touchdown in this game.
He didn't turn the ball over is the only difference in this game.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, I don't know. It was just kind of such a, going into this game, we were talking about the final score, and my prediction, which I thought you were going to call me out for right away, was I thought it was going to be 34-31 Vikings. I thought it was going to be high.
We were only off by a score. I said 31-27 the other way. So it's very reasonable. We both had reason to be excited and concerned, in my opinion.
My point was, I thought these were two, I still think, unproven teams that have yet to show their full potential. And I thought this was going to be a game where it's two teams fighting to make their mark, and I thought there was going to be some fireworks, and there just wasn't. I feel the exact same way about each team. I'm just like, not sure how good either team is. There's flashes from both. Like, this is potentially a blowout if Caleb hits a couple deep shots, if the Vikings don't drop a couple passes. It's one of those things where, like, neither team really executed great.
Exactly.
And I just thought,
though, you had Addison drop 2 balls for over 50 yards. One of them would have been a touchdown. And if you would have told me that the leading receiver for the Bears would have been Cole Kmet with 5 catches, I'd be like, that's not how that was supposed to go. So it definitely still had the potential. Again, drops are a huge thing. I mean, DJ Moore had 1 catch for 18. He had one that was way over his head. And he had 3 drops. And I think one of those 3 drops, it was that little, like, he hitched to the outside at 15, and he went in. The ball was on him. I think he caught it with his body. I hate that as a receiver. But I think that ball was, like, too much heat on it.
Yeah.
He wasn't expecting it. So it's like this game could have been so many more yards without the drops, both sides.
I do think something you notice with both these young QBs, and my theory is they both do seem to be experiencing a lot of drops. I think I just saw Vikings leading the league in drop rate this season. And part of me does wonder if it's a timing thing where the receivers really aren't expecting it. It's like, oh, this ball is a half second early. Like, I'm still looking at this, that, or the other, but I'm not expecting the ball to be in my grill at this point, which I think JJ for sure is a little guilty of, especially with how much velocity he puts on those balls. I think maybe he's trying to make up for being just a hitch late in his read, and so then he compensates by firing it in there even faster. So it's just not what these receivers are expecting, and probably makes it a little harder. That's my theory. I don't know if Caleb deals with a lot of that, but definitely yesterday there were a lot of drops, and I feel like we've been kind of complaining about this. Obviously, you had that game in the rain where there was 8-9 drops by your team. So I
I'm
mean,
not blaming that
there's
on
a
the
lot.
rain either. It was snow and it was just bad all around, to be honest, against the Giants last week.
Yeah. So I feel like it's tough to come away with much from this game other than Bears escaped, I would say, with the win. Vikings looked, Vikings don't give up 50 yards on that last kickoff. Maybe they win that game. It comes down to a kickoff return basically deciding the game, and then the Bears being able to kick a field goal. I don't know. I don't know what to make of the Bears' performance really too much. Again, I was expecting a lot more, not just from the Bears, but from the Vikings. Running game seemed okay. Caleb was
Still
slippery.
had 115 yards. I mean, you still ran the ball. I just thought you could have done it more because you only ran it 22 times.
Yeah, I do not disagree with you there. Caleb was still slippery as ever. I think the real I think the real test will be next week for the Bears against the Eagles, where they have stiff competition, veteran quarterback, veteran playmakers. Although I did just see it looks like Lane Johnson is going to be out for like 4 to 6 weeks, so maybe a little opportunity there for the Bears to get after Jalen Hurts, but I think that'll be a fun matchup and really bring the best out of them.
I misspoke. We have Eagles games on Friday, Black Friday. Thanksgiving's not next week. We're 2 weeks out. I set the table wrong. No pun intended there either. But we're actually playing the Steelers and the fractured, broken wrist of potentially not Aaron Rodgers.
Well,
And that'll be a home game.
That probably should be another one you guys win, right? I feel like that's one that's. They have a decent record. Their defense is good.
I think they're 5-4. I don't remember what they did this week though.
I think they beat the Bengals pretty handily.
Division game too.
I could be totally wrong about that. Hold on.
Yep, I'm grabbing that right now. No, I'm not, because it's not letting me click on it.
Now here's a question for you. What do you think about the Bears running backs and their backfield? Is it going to transition to a more full-on replica of what Ben Johnson had with Monty and Gibbs? Do you see Monungai taking over as that Monty role? Do you think he even gets an even bigger role and he becomes more of the primary 1A to DeAndre Swift's 1B at some point during the season, just to his more, I would consider, more violent running style, which I think jives with how Ben Johnson likes to run the ball? Thoughts on how that's going to progress?
That's a great setup. And yeah, they have that power runner versus scat back style. It's nowhere near comparable to what he had in Detroit. But
yeah,
I was talking about this with my dad the other day, and I think Ben's going to be more susceptible to running the hot hand. I think if one of those guys gets hurt, we're in trouble. I'm going to say that right now because our depth behind sucks. Like Roshan Johnson, Travis Homer, like please, never again. Both those dudes shouldn't be on the roster, but neither here nor there. And I'm glad they kind of stopped with the DJ Moore in the backfield thing. But with the hot hand, I believe I don't care so much about who starts and who doesn't. It's more about the momentum and the script of the game. No matter what, Monungai needs to carry the ball 4 times on your first drive. Don't care what it takes. You need to have the bruiser in there. You need to set your tone early. You need to get the line firing off the ball, set the tone.
Okay.
From there, second drive, however you have that booked up, fine. It can go. I don't think you need to go every other drive. I think you need to go with what's working, but can't react. Just like how I got frustrated with Ben earlier in the season. It's like, oh, they came off that Washington Redskins game. They ran for 200 plus yards. Well, the first play of the game is play action. It's like, well, yeah, everyone knows you're going to try and run the ball, but play action doesn't work unless it's already established. So it's like they ran play action, but you haven't run the ball yet. Ran 4 or 5 play actions without that actually running the ball. So I get you might be getting too cute, but you need to set and establish the tone early. So I think Monungai needs the first drive for the team's sake, not for his fantasy production. I'm not talking fantasy ball at all. But if you want to win games, you want to use the two-headed horse properly. I think that's the attitude and mindset you got to start with.
Sure. Okay. Well, coming out of it, like scale of 1 to 10, how were you feeling about the Bears going into the game, and how do we feel coming out of the game with a maybe somewhat uninspiring win, but now you're sole owner of the division, and really fighting for one of the top spots in the conference based on how next week goes?
I'm cautiously optimistic. Like it definitely is not where I thought we would be. Like on paper, we should have been here. We should have won those games, but you just could never trust them. Do I trust them yet? No, but there's a little bit less inclination to start out in the hole of, oh, here we go again. It's like, oh, hang on. Let's
see if the team can pull it out. Yeah.
Yeah. And so what's going to be really interesting, we're just starting. This is probably the first game of our tough stretch. From now to the end of the year, we have 7 more games, and they're all against 500 or better teams, give or take one. And I think actually after you guys, that might be the case, because we have so Steelers over 500. They just beat the Bengals. Steelers, Eagles, Packers. Browns suck. Packers, Niners, Lions. So we have one not 500 team. Everybody else is a playoff team the rest of the way. Now, if we can split those, that puts us right at 10 wins, which is already more than I predicted. And I think you should be able to beat the Green Bay Packers once. You should definitely be able to beat the Browns. I'm not saying you should beat the Steelers as well. If Rodgers isn't playing, for sure you should beat them. But those are all different style games. Eagles, we'll see. They're now completely a defensive first team, especially bringing up Jalen Phillips. And Vic Fangio knows, what's his name? Ben Johnson, after playing against him so many times. And then the Niners
where was Fangio playing against Ben Johnson? Where was
the Bears, DC. And then after that, the Bears, he was with. Oh no, he didn't, because he was in Miami. I thought he went right to Philly, because I know Detroit and Philly had some big games in those couple of years, but he was not there. He was in Miami, I think, for a year and a half, maybe. So I take that back. Good catch. But what's going to be interesting too is the Bears, kind of like what we talked about in the walk into the Vikings game. The Bears and the Vikings week 1 are completely different teams than they are now, because of health, because of development, because of just the way the season evolves. And coming out of this game, we're down again, as we've been for most of the year, our top 3 corners, right? Top 2 and our fourth 1, 2, and 4. So Jalen Johnson opened his 3-week window last week. That would be huge. If we can get him back and we can get Gordon back by the Packer game, which is in 3 weeks, that's your 21-day window. I mean, that's insane, considering everyone's like brushing off the fact that Jalen Johnson might be gone out for the year. Now, is he going to play like top 5 corner again? Probably not, considering it's a core thing. But at the same time, he hasn't taken the hits of the last 13 weeks.
Yeah, so his body might be a little fresher than people could be expecting.
Yeah, and now you take that and then you add back CJ Gardner-Johnson. Maybe you have to put Gordon on the outside and let CJ play that dime nickel slot thing that he's doing, that hybrid star money guy. Or you put him at safety because, Brisker's becoming more and more of a liability. And I also, on that note too, I definitely think you need to get CJ Gardner-Johnson and Byard extended like this week or next week. Not just because they've earned it, but also a show of good faith to the locker room. I know they're pressing for cap, but that should open up some room for next year too.
Sure.
I mean, do it for these boys, because they've proven enough. I know CJ's the sexy thing because he's got 3 sacks in 2 games and blah, blah, blah. But we're going to learn a lot about what we can actually expect from this team. Again, being first in the division, crazy. Does it maintain? I don't know who the Packers play and Detroit play, but I imagine it's a lot of division games. So The fact that Ben got his first division win as a head coach on the road, they're 1-2 now in the division. Just got the monkey off the back, I think, there. Where you guys are at, though, is a little bit kind of a different story. Like, are you going into scrap the season mode, just full development mode? Or are you still pushing hard? Because again, 7-3, 4-7, there's still some leeway in there, because we're not as top heavy as the AFC is. Where are you at now that you're, again, 4-7 is not great? You're going into playing who? You got Green Bay next week?
Green Bay next week. Yeah, we definitely don't have. I mean, it's not the easiest schedule throughout the end of the season, but to your question of like, are we punting on this season? I'm a believer in like, it ain't over till the bell rings. We went out, we're what does that put us at? 11-6. So okay, give us like one game or are we at 7 losses now? We're 4-6. We're 4-6. No, we're 4. I think we're 4-6.
4-6. Okay. Yeah. So you guys had your bye. All right, my bad.
So maybe we have 1 loss leeway. Teams have certainly gotten hot before down the stretch. It's hard to predict that though, because not the way we're playing. You see flashes and glimpses here and there of like, yeah, maybe, but I think the idea in the locker room at this point is like, okay, we just need to, I think, get JJ McCarthy up to speed as quickly as possible, because it really is going to hinge on how quickly he can develop and grow in front of everyone's eyes. Because,
Sure.
You know, that's just where we are in the season. We lost 5 weeks early on, which was maybe our grace period of, you know, weathering some of these growing pains with McCarthy. And I think we really, you know, I don't know that he can lose a job this year, like, unless he takes a major step back. But you know, as much as people want to shit on McCarthy's game against the Bears, you know, you do see, I do see some improvement week to week. Like, not a single false start this week, great. Didn't take a sack this week, great. One bad pick, admittedly. I'd say the first one where he kind of gets caught or intercepted by that lurking linebacker, not the best read he's ever had. I maintain that the throw to Addison in the end zone that got picked was not that bad of a throw. I mean, obviously he got picked. What, Nashawn Wright's like 6'4"
corner. That's hard to throw.
He high points the ball. Like, you're not really expecting him to make that play. Could JJ have placed it like another foot out ahead, so like Nashawn Wright doesn't have quite a good angle? Sure. But if you're within 1 foot of your target, 35, 40 yards down the field, like, okay, that's not that bad of a throw. It didn't end well, but like, I've seen a lot worse interceptions.
Yeah.
Operationally, no delay of game penalties either. He's getting in and out of the huddle.
And 2 penalties on the day, dude. That's a huge improvement.
So, like,
especially from the Ravens game where you guys had almost a dozen for 100 yards or something like that.
It was disgusting. So, like, operationally, we're seeing that improvement, but if he can't get accurate, then it's kind of all for naught. But we are seeing that growth game to game, where maybe it's because he is thinking so much more on just like getting that operational stuff. Maybe it's causing lapses in concentration when it comes to just delivering the ball and playing pitch and catch. And, you know, hopefully that's something that comes in time. And like, I think that is something that can be coached. But one thing you don't really see improvement on week to week is like this footwork thing that's getting harped on a lot, both by KOC in the pressers, as well as a lot of just Twitter analysts. And my thought is they may just be punting on the footwork and the mechanics till like the off season. And maybe they're going in with the mindset of like, okay, figure out how to run this offense so you don't have to think about it. We're not going to try to rip up all the wiring of your footwork and your mechanics in the middle of the season. So like, throw it how you feel comfortable throwing it now. Next off season, we're going to work on, you know, having you throw more consistently with better mechanics. That's kind of where I think maybe we're at right now, because we definitely are seeing growth. I would say like the mistakes he made operationally like a few weeks ago, he doesn't make in the following week, and the new mistakes that he makes that week, he's not making in the next week. So he's just got to kind of put it all together, and hopefully once he just gets that down, it's he just gets the accuracy figured out. Which I also am curious how many of his errant throws are due to accuracy and how many are due to either like a lack of comfort in the system. Like, he's not expecting players to be where they are. Like, there's a few clips from the game of Justin Jefferson getting overthrown a couple times, particularly on out routes. And to me, it's like, well, I kind of looks like JJ's expecting Jefferson to stem that route another 3, 4, 5 yards down the field. And since he likes to throw that anticipation, it's like, okay, if he's anticipating Jefferson 5 yards farther down the field and Jefferson stems it a little earlier, it's just going to look like he overthrows it by a mile. So part of me does wonder how much of these he's like truly off target, or versus how many his target is just not set in the right place. So, you know, time will tell there. You look like you have something to say.
Yeah. So before we get into the coaching comparison that I had in mind, I was thinking of this while you were sharing that, because I'm thinking about him as a quote unquote rookie. And this is not, everyone's like, oh, it's such a quarterback friendly system. I was like, well, it's really not, because there aren't short options. There aren't quick dump offs. There aren't get out of jail free cards built into the system, where a lot of these other systems, like you look at the Patriots, everything's at the line, behind the line. Like, it's all just get the ball out and like just distribute. So part of that could be it. And I want to take that, pin it, because the real question set up was, is it a blessing or a curse? I never want to wish ill on injury, but like, because Wentz is done, we're not having that conversation right now. And you're not talking Brosmer. So it's like we just have to deal with JJ.
People are talking Brosmer. Believe you me.
All right.
They're talking
I'm
Brosmer.
not in your Twitter sphere.
I mean, I don't agree with it at all. But trust me, people are talking Brosmer because they have the patience of a fucking goldfish.
Like, y'all are in game 5 of a rookie quarterback. Like, we've been doing rookie quarterbacks for 12 years, it would seem. Not rookie, but like new guy, can he figure it out? Got to be patient. It's like, you guys are 5 games in calling for his head. It's like, dude, relax. We're 25 games. We're still figuring Caleb out.
Yeah, it makes just like Twitter and Reddit is borderline unbearable for me right now, where I'm just like, I don't generally, there's some level of level-headedness, and there is some, but just hearing all these accounts that are like just brain dead takes of, screw it, we have to tank and try and get, whoever from Oregon. I don't know how to say that properly. Whatever that big state with, the Ducks. Get him in the trash. It's just like, how dumb are you? Like, that is, what do you think is going to happen? He's just going to come in and look like Joe Montana day one? Like, it's not going to happen.
Right.
Sorry, so
I mean,
totally.
Mahomes set a year, Love set for 3, Rodgers set for 3. Like, there's a model to it. We were talking about that before the game too. It's like, you gotta get rid of this instant gratification if you want to truly have a successful and sustained season.
Yeah, but I did cut you off when no one's calling for Max Brosmer. So you were saying, is the injury maybe
so you're not having the debate of like, oh well, he's not there, he's not ready, because we had the quiet benching earlier with whatever JJ was doing with his ankle, and then he jumps over the guy on the sidelines like, no, he looks like he's fine. But now you don't really even have that piece to worry about, so you're just kind of blinders on, and this is what we have to work with. Do you agree with that? It's like, is it a good thing that he's not there? Would you be calling for Wentz at this part of the year? Where would you be at if that scenario was true?
I'm gonna flip that. I think it's a bad thing. The reason, and I'm totally theorizing here. My thought is, and I've noticed this the last 2 games, is JJ McCarthy is not running the ball. Like, I don't know that he had
0 attempts this week.
Yeah, I don't know that he had any last week. Part of me is wondering if whether this is something JJ and O'Connell have talked about, but I can definitely foresee them talking and Kevin saying, hey, I know you got wheels, I know you can run, but the reality of the situation is if you get injured, Max Brosmer comes into the game, and this is a cutthroat league. Like, you might not get another chance ever if you get injured playing this position. So, like, you need to learn how to throw the ball, or if you're running the risk of getting injured and never having this opportunity again. I can definitely see that being a conversation between O'Connell and McCarthy, and also kind of explaining why McCarthy isn't using his wheels as much at this point of the season. I also feel like maybe KOC is like, hey, we have your back, and this is kind of going off what you were saying before, but part of me does wonder, he said the O'Connell offense isn't necessarily QB friendly. There's not really easy outs. Granted, there are some, like, there's a lot of plays getting pulled out on Twitter. It's like, oh, he had like an easy underneath safety valve here. I think KOC,
but he's reading it high to low. He's going bomb, intermediate, check down. It's not 1, 2, 3, get the check down, easy yards, no pressure, get a rhythm.
Sure.
That's more what I meant by it.
Gotcha. Yeah, that does make sense. And so where I'm going with that is I think KOC could do that, but he's like, that's not how I run my offense. And JJ McCarthy also probably doesn't want to be babied like that. He's like, I want to figure out how to run this offense. So I think KOC's like, all right, I think he's more or less made his peace with McCarthy's going to make mistakes, but he can learn from them. He's not going to let it discourage him, and he won't get into his head and turn into, like a Sam Darnold on the Jets situation where he's seeing ghosts. I think KOC's trying to make up for lost time by not altering his offense to try and get some immediate success now, because he's like, I think he wants McCarthy to learn faster. So he's like, all right, I'm throwing you in here. I'm calling this how I
feels like you're trying to get 10 points every throw. It's like you can't do it anyway. So I think that's exactly what you just said there makes me think of that. It's like you can't hit a home run every time. And I know that's what they want to do. But so is that then the issue? Because here's where I hear it is like when you compare and contrast, I guess, KOC and Ben, both young, explosive offensive coordinators, head coaches, really dynamic when they got their guys in there. But is that it's clear that KOC wants to throw the ball. He's a quarterback. So is Ben. Ben clearly wants to run the ball 40. His like ideal would be run the ball 40 times, throw the ball 25 times, where it's clear the other way for KOC. And that doesn't usually help the game script. It doesn't usually help quarterback confidence as far as just mitigating pressure, or it just kind of keeps the highs and lows a little bit more neutral. And you can see that too, because we had another, like, it was 36-23 time of possession in favor of the Bears because we were just running the ball. Not a ton more. We had 30 more yards rushing. But you said something close to, I want you to run my offense, as opposed to trying to find things that JJ does well and adapting that, especially if it's in a season like this where, man, you got 7 games. Maybe you can win 3 or 4 of them. That might get you 7-8 wins. So you might be on the hunt maybe at the end. But do you want to build? Because it seems like he's just lacking confidence in some of these things. JJ, that is, as the quarterback. Because you hear interviews with KOC as an outsider. It's like, man, he's nice. He's chill. He's a dude's dude. Like, he just seems like he gets it. He's all in for the players. But if it's truly down my way or the highway, that's kind of, this isn't like Bill Parcells anymore. Like, that's not how the world works. And that's not how you treat these quarterbacks who aren't polished coming out of college. Yeah,
I think it's a little of both. KOC has referenced things about, what I interpreted it as is trying to find the throws that JJ McCarthy likes and is comfortable with within KOC's offense. And I've talked about this before. The throws that he likes are those wheel routes. He likes hitting those wheel routes or fade routes where he can hit them over the shoulder. JJ McCarthy has had a lot of success with those throws so far in KOC's offense. So again, I don't think he's adding new different plays to the playbook per se to help support McCarthy with a lot of these short throws. I think it's more, we're keeping the playbook, but we're finding the plays that you like and are comfortable with. Maybe KOC is leaning into, if he's trying to decide between 2 plays, maybe I like play A better just due to the design and where we are. But like, I trust McCarthy to do this play better. So like, maybe that situation, he's going with play B. And again, this is totally hypothetical, but this is kind of how I've interpreted KOC talking about that. And I think another thing we should talk about here is this. We're at this kind of weird point in the season. We're kind of in a tight spot because one of the things that was said about JJ coming to Minnesota is like, oh, this is like one of the best places for a young QB
I wanted to go there too. Great.
And why is that? Well, we have great veteran weapons on offense and on defense. We're kind of loaded up on, again, veteran talent. Here's the issue is when you have veteran talent guys, they want to win now. There's less incentive for them to play their heart out if they know this is going to be a development year for a 22-year-old quarterback. And the assumption was, well, we were a 14 win team last year with Darnold. Like, even if JJ McCarthy isn't as good, we should still be a playoff team. And now we're at this point of the season where it's like, ooh, we might not be a playoff team. Like, some people, JJ McCarthy might not be as good as we think he is. And so I think it's going to be hard to keep those veteran players motivated through the end of the season, especially, say we lose our next 2 games, we're like really looking like we're out of the running. That's where we're gonna have a hard time, and that the culture in the locker room is gonna get tested, where it's like, this season is not going to plan at all. You did not expect this young QB who is supposed to be your starter to be injured for 5 weeks pretty much right out of the gate, and then come back and somewhat underperform. I don't know what expectations were for him in that locker room, but at least to an outsider, to a fan, it seems he's underperformed a bit. And you see that frustration coming out with Justin Jefferson on the field and on the sidelines. And he's stepped up and is being a great leader, but at the same time, he's 27, 28. He's
he's not that. He's 24.
No.
Are you talking about JJ McCarthy?
Justin Jefferson.
Oh, Jefferson. No, he's 28. Sorry.
Yeah, and he's not getting younger. 28, that's kind of like your prime, and 30 is going to hit before you know it. And
he was born in 1999, so that makes him 26, dude.
Okay, that's good. That's good. We got a couple more years in his prime then. So, we'll have to see how the team responds. I still have faith both in the team and in McCarthy. I think there's still a chance we get hot and go on a run. despite the stat line and what's going on the field, I'm still a believer in JJ McCarthy, and you just have to keep reminding yourself this is start 5.
Right.
Development isn't a straight line. There's peaks and valleys. Even if the valleys are negative EPA and a few losses, in theory it'll swing around, and he's gonna have one of those big growth games where you go, whoa, he's gonna regress to the mean, meaning that like he has a bunch, if here's his trajectory and he has a bunch of games dotted around here, trying to get this angle right here, he's gonna have a game that brings him back over that line,
absolutely,
where he's overperforming. So we just have to wait and see that game and see how it goes from there.
Division games are always tough, and you've got the Packers up next week at Green Bay, tough, at Seattle, but then you have 14. You have the Commanders at home. You're in Dallas, so that's a dome warm weather game in the middle of December, and then you play. So that's 3 games in a row. I think you have the Commanders, the Cowboys, and the Giants are very winnable. Going into to finish the year off with Detroit and Packers. So if you can sneak a win here against the Packers this week, you're still fine. You'll be 5-6. You'll have another division win, and then you Seahawks, man, that's gonna be a tough game for sure.
Yeah.
But Commanders, Cowboys, Giants, I could think those are very winnable for you.
Yeah.
And then you kind of control your own destiny at that point with 2 division games, because really, one game is a big deal in the standings, but 1 division game twice, that's like a 4-game jump potentially, depending on where you're at, because you're not really fighting for the division at that point. You're fighting to knock them out of the wild card and you into the wild card.
Yeah, I mean that sure could set up for a theatrical end of the season. Because I think the Packers' last game is against the Bears, but I think their second to last game is against.
You guys are against the Packers week 18 TBD.
Oh man,
you have Detroit week 17, which means here's the deal, dude. Week 14 we're at Green Bay. Week 16 we're home versus the Packers. 17 we're in San Francisco before New Year's, and then we finish at home versus the Lions. So that's gonna be in the cold. Which, if they're in or out, doesn't matter. I love that for the Bears, because as we just saw Goff against Philly.
He struggled in the cold.
He cannot play in the cold. He had 2 gloves on his throwing hand. He will not play in the cold.
2 gloves? Really?
2 gloves.
I didn't see
2
that.
Gloves. Not Teddy, 2 gloves. 2 gloves on his throwing hand.
Wow. What a pussy.
He's a California puss, man. Like, yeah, dude.
Oh, that's funny.
Theatrical is going to be the word. Yeah, because, I mean, it's no slouch for us either. So Steelers at Eagles, at Green Bay, home versus the Browns, home versus the Packers, at the Niners, home versus Detroit to finish it off. Gosh, to see Ben Johnson fighting against his former team at home, last game of the year, definitely, who knows? Maybe it's going to be like who gets the division, who gets the wild card. It could be that if we're still, hanging around. Because again, in that stretch, though, there's only 2 or 3 winnable games where you just look at it on paper like, oh, yeah, we should win this game.
Mm-hmm.
Every other one's like a dog fight. And if we can just split the rest of the way with the division, like, holy shit. Because Green Bay is slipping. There's no confidence there.
I hate that team so much. I swear they're not as good as I swear they're not a good team.
They want to be. Like, they had all the potential of, ooh, this Jordan Love thing is sexy, but you only paid him off the back end of a season, and he hasn't sustained or maintained that. Josh Jacobs just got hurt. Defense is playing okay, but they were the hot, sexy, youngest team, and they're just not anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So for what? You can see the Detroit Lions coming down too, because they couldn't move the ball, and Campbell's over aggression, really, they were 0 for 4 or whatever on fourth downs.
I think 0 for 5 on fourth
last
0 for 5?
Night. Yeah. In key moments, like I didn't watch the whole game, but it seemed like one of those things is like, your quarterback's a puss. He's not going to pull one out for you. You don't have Laporta. You probably should just take the 3 points here. I know the fucking nerds are like, but the analytics say go for it. But like, there's still something in your balls that should tell you like, this game requires me to mitigate this risk.
Right.
Just for the sake of momentum, confidence, a breather. Like, because neither team is moving the ball, because we know that the Philly offense is just fucked.
Yeah.
They're so stubbornly not willing to adjust anything. So you just see the Packers and Lions on a trend down this way. You see the Vikings trying to figure it out, like you said, up and down, up and down.
Mm-hmm.
Bears, their record has them ascending, but it feels up and down. It's a heart attack, the cardiac Bears every week. Dude, I'm so excited. Like that's the thing is I have not been this engaged this late. We're in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
Like,
that says enough. That says
let's
enough
go
right
for
there.
a mock draft right now. Are we going to get the 5 pick or are we going to get the 10 pick? It's like, dude, we're going to be picking in the late teens, early 20s if we are even on the playoff bubble, because that's 14, my 32, so that's 18. You can be picking at 18. I don't know what's at 18 anymore. Haven't looked at 18.
Hopefully you don't have to look
years.
anytime soon.
Oh my gosh. So I'm actually excited. That's where we're at for these 2 games. You got anything else you want to do before we get into quick fantasy talk?
Just a quick shout out for Dallas Turner. Dallas Turner been the question of much. People have been talking about him. Is he a bust? Is he not? He had a good game filling in for Grenard. I think sack, couple TFLs, couple pressures. He looked good. So give him his roses. I think that's all I got. That was pretty much the only bright spot of the game for the Vikings, I think.
Love it. And he's one of those dudes that out of Alabama, again, you're asking him to do so much more. Like he was just a dog on a leash out there in Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
Go see spot kill. And now you're asking him to drop into coverage, more stunts, those types of things. He's still what?
22.
He's still 22. Like you all need to chill out.
Yeah.
Like that's a guy. It better work because you invested a lot into him. But the raw talent is still there. You're asking him to do something completely foreign. I know he's going in his second season.
Second season. Yep.
Yeah, he had a chance to grow. You should do the same thing with JJ. Like JJ, we talked a little bit about the expectations. He should be this year and next year, nothing more, nothing less than just the Kansas City version of Alex Smith.
Totally.
He can win you 10, 11 games just with the roster. So it's like you have this sexy car, but what's under the hood? With Kirk Cousins, you knew you had V8 going there. Now it's like, well, okay, we have a veteran roster like you talked about. They want to win now. They're all at the 303, 404 education of this offense. Well, he's at 101. So do you keep it at 303 and, hey, figure it out? Or do you kind of go back to 202 and kind of meet in the middle?
Mm-hmm.
There is still so much potential. As much as it pains me to say, I like this roster a lot. I just worry, is it too, I know you invested a lot on the lines. Is it too perimeter focused, edges and receivers and all that stuff to be sustainable? Does that help sustain a season? Because it's flashy, it's sexy, it's scary.
You remind me, O-line also looked pretty solid yesterday. I mean, no sacks given up. Sure. McCarthy had some of his biggest, cleanest pockets, really, of any Vikings quarterback this season. So I don't know what changed, what was different. Maybe the Bears.
Bears defensive line sucks.
Yeah. But hey, shout out O-line. Nice, big, clean pockets. We love to see it.
Love me a big, clean pocket. All right. That about does it for this type of talk. Where are we at with fantasy? You showed me in the car. You showed me your guillotine league. He's like, what do you think of this team? I started laughing because it was like an all-star roster.
I've been coasting all season on that guillotine league, and I will continue to coast. I mean, it's to the point where like it's quite hard for me to improve the roster at this point. Maybe if I got Josh Allen instead of Jalen Hurts, that could be an improvement.
40-something points this week does not hurt.
No. Main league, I think we're both needing just a little something from George Pickens tonight. I need 11 points to secure my victory. In my main league from George Pickens.
I need 16 and a half combined from Pickens and Williams. That's all I've got going. He's done for the week on the other side there, and that will give me sole ownership of first place if I pull it off. Going into week 12, 2 weeks before the trade deadline, and we start our playoffs in week 14, so we got 3 more weeks till that.
Sweet. Yeah. Hey.
Feeling okay. Might make another move or two. We'll see what the everything shakes up.
Is there a scenario where you try to go more all in this season?
Well, I've done a really good job of towing the line. Like I've traded most of the guys I drafted just to get more effective cap space. Mm-hmm. So I've got $100 basically for the draft next year, and 2/3 of my roster already picked. So we'll see if that pays off or not. But I was also able to manage keeping all my draft picks. You start with 4 picks every year. Mm-hmm. A first, a second, a third, a fourth out of 12 man. Well, I've got my 1 first-round pick, my second-round pick, and 2 other second-round picks. So a 1 and 3 2s going into next year. I think I've done a good job of towing the line of future and past. We'll see. Again, I got 2 weeks to figure out. Like if I can start separating, I'll get a first-round bye, which already puts me in contention for a money game because the first 3 teams because like the third place team
gets their money
back, which is hell. I'll take 75 or $50, whatever it was, and then after that it's like $100 and $300. Like that's not nothing. Yeah, we'll see how it ends up going because we have one other thing we have the toilet bowl, we have the playoff bowl, and then we have the toilet bowl. If you are top 6 make the actual championship, and you'll get seeded 1 through 6 accordingly. How do you produce? The other 6 at the bottom, the worst teams get the buys, but you have to win out. So it's the idea is to stop the idea of tanking or cutting everybody, or
sure,
you still have to sustain. So the team that wins the toilet bowl, you are rewarded with the first pick, not the team that goes 3-12. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So it's going to be interesting to see how that affects deals. We've seen some movement heat up a little bit, which is something I've been pushing for, and I've also been pushing for more conversation around what do we need to tweak. I think we have too much in-season money, especially because I think we're all going to roll over $40 to our draft pool next year, so we have $40 extra to draft with, which is going to be insane.
Because if you don't spend it in free agency,
right?
Oh, nice.
So I think we need to reduce our free agency number because we put it up higher than league recommended settings this year. So it's like we can put that now. We kind of see why.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to balance. It's going to depend. I'm going to try and be patient. I'm putting feelers out now because I got 2 weeks to figure it out. How hard of a push? Maybe I'll get, if I need another running back, I'll put a second rounder out there. I'll give him a lesser running back just for a team that's losing.
Yeah.
We'll see. But I got a lot going on, a lot percolating, but nothing's getting close to official yet.
One question I had about this Dynasty League is, are there roster size limits, or is it only constrained by your salary or salary cap?
Yes, there are roster size limits. So you
can't just load up on a bunch of guys on cheap contracts.
You could do that too. I mean, it's all a part of how you want to manage your cap, because if you have someone signed to a long-term deal and you drop them, there's a penalty. Like you have dead money, just like in the real world, you have dead money. So you have your normal 1Q, 2 running backs, 2 receivers, a tight end, and we have 2 flexes, no kicker, no D. You have 8 bench spots, which for the first year is a ton. It's so many 3-year deals. Those are going to start, rookie picks. Those are going to start adding up into some of those spots that get taken up. However, they are practice squad eligible. So you have 8 bench spots. You have 4 practice squad spots, which only drafted rookies are eligible, not free agent rookies.
Sure.
And then you have 4 IRs. So you have 8 bench spots, and you have 8 reserve spots, technically. 4 for practice squad, 4 for IR. And it's going to start taking off more. And that's another part, too, where your rookies on the practice squad only count for a quarter of what you paid for them. So if I drafted a guy for $12, because it's all fixed rate, then if he's on my practice squad, he only counts as 3 against my cap until I activate him. So that's another thing where you got to manage your in-season cap differently. So yeah, it's a lot to absorb, especially year 1. Year 2, next year's going to feel a lot like year 1 also, in that it's the same rules, but messing with practice squad, understanding trade values, dollar values, all those types of things are going to be interesting.
Nice.
Running backs are going to be a huge premium because they're so scarce. Like I'm one of 3 teams that has 3 startable running backs. Everyone else has 1 or none. And I didn't spend a lot of money on that. So I think I'm going to have to focus there, at least in the draft.
Sure.
And pay for receivers if you want to get a different tier. So that's preliminary thought right now. A lot to talk about in the offseason, though.
Yeah. Sounds fun.
Yeah. I'm a freak like that.
Hey, those spreadsheets help. You're freaking the sheets, I heard.
Amen.
All right. Well, I think that's all I got. Jason, any more double entendres for us, or should we put a bow on this?
Bear down, baby.
All right, Skull. We'll catch you guys next week.